Hey T Squad, it's me Keisha, and I'm here with another Diddy Exposed video. So I wanted to catch you guys up on what's been going on during this trial. We're over a week into the trial at this point. I think 2 weeks now at this point, I believe. And a lot has been said on the stand, y'all. So the Shade Room reported that a male exotic dancer and special agent who raided Diddy's Miami home took the stand. Yeah. So the government this is a transcript, mind you, that I'm about to read you from the court, from the trial. And it says the government calls its next witness Sheree Hayes. He was an exotic dancer known as the Punisher. He testified he was hired in 2012 to create a schmexy erotic scene for Diddy and Cassie. When he arrived at Trump Tower, he noticed Cassie in a bathrobe with nothing underneath and a wig. Haynes testified he was paid $800 to create a schmexual scene with baby oil. Hayes described a dimly lit room that had bowls of water with bottles of baby oil in them. What? Oh, maybe it was like hot water or something, so it could be warm or something on their body. Okie dokie. The prosecution questioned Hayes about whether or not Diddy was present. Hayes said, yeah, he was naked, but I could not see his face. It was like what a Muslim woman wears. You see only the eyes. He had a bottle of Astroglide. Oh, Jesus Christ. Cassie told Hayes not to acknowledge Diddy and not to look at him when he came out of the room. Hayes testified he had freak-offs with Cassie and Diddy 8 or 12 more times after this. The prosecution said, how did it end? She went into the other room with him. When she came back, she asked if I wanted to finish. I said no. If they were happy, I was happy. She gave me more money. Hayes, the Punisher, is back on the stand testifying about other freak-offs he had with Diddy and Cassie. He said it didn't take him long to recognize the two stars. Further along the line, I saw his face. He would wear a baseball cap and I noticed his face. Ironically, I am a fan and follow him on Instagram. AUSA said, how much baby oil did you use? Hayes, a lot. We were supposed to be glistening as much as possible. What is up with this man and baby oil? Like, he just liked to see them slipping and sliding all on each other, like their bodies just shining under the lights. Like, he is obsessed. My God. Hayes said the encounters would last about 4 hours and he was tasked with finishing in a specific spot. He added that Cassie would pay him $1,200 cash. Now, in another testimony, I don't know if it was from the Punisher. I believe it was another freak off or something this was when Cassie was on the stand. She said that Diddy would want her to have the person that she was sleeping with ejaculate on her. They would go into another room and he would request for her to take the other man's jizz and rub it onto his nipples. Let that marinate in your soul. The Punisher opened up about performance issues during his testimony. He revealed it was hard for him to perform schmexually with Cassie while Diddy was in the room. When asked about whether these issues impacted his pay, Hayes said he was unsure how his pay was calculated. However, he did worry that Diddy and Cassie wouldn't use him for future freak-offs. Hayes said one time Mr. Combs threw condoms on the couch next to us. I struggled. It was a failure. I was worried I would not be used again. I hadn't done my job. He had said, I want to see you F her, and I couldn't. Hayes revealed he's writing a self-help book about his erectile dysfunction. dysfunction, which includes 6 pages about Cassie and Diddy. Hayes added that during the freak-offs, he never heard Cassie refuse any of Diddy's directions. Hayes says, I did observe sometimes a sigh, a wince, and that seemed to be frustration at the frequency of Combs' directions. Diddy's lawyer Xavier Donaldson has started Hayes' cross-examination. He congratulated Hayes on the book, which is titled In Search of Freezer Meat, a story of the male mental health crisis caused by erectile dysfunction and the only true cure no one is talking about, a Peter Weeder implant. Get this man off this damn stand. Get him out of here. Put him in a mental facility. Like, freezer meat, bro. Freezer meat. I hate everybody. Diddy's attorney, Xavier Donaldson, questioned Hayes about the nature of his relationship with Cassie, referring to documents from a previous meeting between Hayes and prosecutors. Donaldson pointed out that Hayes stated he began to develop feelings for Ventura. What? Hayes says that may have been taken out of context because that's not the case. Hayes says he never had a personal relationship with Cassie, despite admitting he thought he was the only person Cassie was being intimate with in this way. Why would you think that? Okay. Donaldson continued cross-examination of Hayes. He asked Hayes if Cassie ever appeared to be uncomfortable during their freak-offs. Hayes responded, I did not get any cues that there was a discomfort with what was going on. It seemed as if it was consented as far as I was concerned. Hayes also testified he never witnessed any violence between Cassie and Diddy. Donaldson ended his cross-examination. So after that, the government's 10th witness, Special Agent Gerard Gannon, took the stand. Gannon worked for Homeland Security investigations and was in charge of the planning of the raid on Diddy's Miami home. Gannon details the March 2024 raid of Diddy's home on Star Island. He alleged the HSI, human trafficking group, learned that Diddy and his family were flying out of the country, so they monitored his property until the raid began at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Gannon testified authorities broke open the gate to Diddy's property in order to make sure bad actors wouldn't have time to put those who would search in danger. Prosecutors presented photos of Diddy's Miami home, and Gannon identified items that were bagged for evidence during the raid. Among these items were parts of AR-15 rifles, Schmeck's toys, Astroglide, platform heels, and lingerie. Gannon said his job was to compile a list of each item, adding that he went through every piece of evidence and categorized them. While on the witness stand, Gannon held up an evidence bag which contained the upper receivers of an AR-15 recovered from Diddy's closet. He put on rubber gloves and showed one of the receivers to the jury. He noted that he was unable to determine the maker of one of the rifles recovered in the closet. AUSA says, "What do these show?" Gannon responded, "The serial numbers have been cut out," which that means he obtained them illegally. The prosecution presents 2 more pieces of evidence. Gannon identifies them as the ammunition authorities found in Diddy's home and platform high heels. The AUSA asks Gannon how high the platform heels are, to which Gannon replied 7 inches. Judge Subramanian, whatever, the judge, I'm just gonna call him a judge, decides to adjourn court for the day. Y'all, that's enough for me already, and this is just the first half of what I got to tell y'all. My God, this man is a freaky dicky deek. I feel nasty just reading this. Next up, it came out today as I'm filming this on Tuesday that Kid Cudi is set to testify this week. regarding the Schmeck's trafficking and racketeering. Remember, he dated Cassie in 2011, and Diddy threatened to blow up his car, and a few days later his car actually blew up in the driveway. So that's going to be interesting, seeing Kid Cudi on the stand and seeing exactly what he has to say about all of this, because this is wild. Okay, wild. Today, this Tuesday, May 20th, Diddy's former assistant David James continued his testimony, revealing his time working for the mogul ended due to an incident involving Suge Knight. He also recounted a separate altercation with one of Diddy's chefs, during which Diddy reportedly told him he shouldn't put his hands on women. Well, ain't that the pot calling the kettle black? What? Okay. Huh. This nigga got nerve. So the transcript reads, David James testified he resigned from his job as Diddy's assistant after witnessing the 2008 incident between Diddy and Suge Knight. James said he was at Mel's Diner in Los Angeles picking up cheeseburgers when Diddy's security guard D-Rock noticed Suge Knight. That's mother effing Suge Knight, D-Rock alleged, yelling before confronting Suge. James testified Diddy's team returned to the mogul's house where they got dressed and armed themselves to return to Mel's and confront Suge. James said he saw Diddy with 3 hand pow-pows. This was the first time as his assistant that I realized my life was in danger. I told them I want to leave, but give 6 months notice so I could train the next assistant. Like, Diddy, who do you think that you are? Like, you are Diddy. You thought that you were just about to go to this random diner dressed in all black like a omen with a pow-pow and do what? You was gonna unalive him and brought in front of everybody? Like, you ain't Diddy? Like, you trying to just forsake everything that you worked for? Make it make sense, sir. Like, he had to been high that night. Well, it sounded like he was high every night. The prosecution is done with questioning David James, and Diddy's attorney Mark Agnifilo has started cross-examination. He started by asking James why he didn't provide more details about the Suge Knight incident previously. James said he was instructed not to say anything that would incriminate himself. Mark questioned James about his state of mind during the incident, and he stated he had a clear mind and was not drinking or smoking marijuana. Mark asked more questions about what James witnessed during the Suge Knight incident. James said D-Rock says, I'm Biggie's boy, and then Suge recognizes him, gives him a dap. James testified Diddy had a large security detail, which often included a second car when he was traveling. James said his team was suspicious of people pulling up on him to schmoop boop poop 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 him. He added that people would often try to touch Diddy when he was in public and ask for autographs. James testified Diddy would have his staff sign items and send them out on his behalf instead. I don't think gracious is a word I would use to describe him. Wow, this is why I don't be clamoring for nobody damn signature, because this man didn't even sign his own stuff. He had other people doing it for him. So anybody out there with a Diddy signature, you probably ain't even got his unless he did it in front of you. David James testified Diddy did not expense freak-offs, supplies, Astroglide condoms, and baby oil through his business. James said, I was told he didn't want to run them through the company, didn't want a record of them. Diddy's defense team questions James about an altercation with Combs' personal chef, Chef Jordan. James testified about an argument that turned physical between him and Jordan. James testified they were in Diddy's kitchen in Miami when the chef tried to tell him how to do his job. He admitted to grabbing her by the wrist and saying, stay in your lane. James, Mr. Combs heard about it and called me to his room. I told him what happened and he said, you can't put your hands on a woman. Oh, but you can. Because is this the same chef that he pushed out a door or something like that? Like, boy, lose yourself, because you are a loser. Wow. Next story. While Cassie was still on the stand, she opened up about how she recovered from their freak offs. Lord. When asked how she recovered from freak offs, she said, I take opiates. I wanted to feel numb. We'd get massages, IV fluids. The chef would cook us something. How often did you take opioids after freak offs? Attorney Johnson asked. Often. I got urinary tract infections, Cassie replied. Ugh. Oh, I know that shit hurt. She says they were painful. No, the attorney asked, were they painful? She said, very. Antibacterial didn't work anymore. Can you imagine? What? That's crazy. Johnson said, how did it feel during freak offs? Burning. I would not advise it, Cassie replied. My God, that mangled cootie cat. Attorney Johnson asked Cassie to read a text out loud. I have all these sores on my tongue. I have another UTI. Johnson asks more about the sores. Cassie proceeds to describe burning sensations during freak-offs and sores in her mouth from oral schmecks, confirming she was open with Diddy about them. Now, I'm wondering when, what's his name? John Odie or whatever, that one schmecks worker that the video went around to him from several years ago when he got arrested for pow-powing in a Trump hotel. Remember during his interrogation with the police, he admitted that, you know, he was one of Diddy and Cassie's schmecks slaves. And he said that they gave him, was it herpes? It was one of them incurable ones. So she didn't admit on stage that she has a permanent STD or anything, but I'm guessing she got the sores from so much oral, you know. Wow, that is disgusting. Wow. Whew. Before court adjourned for the day on Monday, the prosecution called its next witness to the stand, Diddy's former assistant, David James. So David also admitted, it says the prosecution questioned James about his duties as Diddy's assistant, which included booking reservations, being present at the Bad Boy office, heading to the studio until 3 a.m. and travel. James testified he and Diddy's security team worked 20 hours a day. Girl, ain't no job that damn important. Just because you high all the time and don't want to go to sleep. Some of us need to rest. Okay? James testified Diddy was in relationship with 5 women during the time he worked for him, naming the following women: Kim Porter, Sarah, which is his daughter Chance's mother, some girl named Tara, another girl named Yana, and Cassie. I always figured he was still with all 3 of them, especially around that time in the mid 2000s. Because remember, he would always go on vacations with Kim and the kids, and Cassie would never be invited. She would be home or whatever, and he would go on family vacations with the kids and Kim. Him and Kim was still kicking it with each other, going to events with each other. And I was like, what is going on here? And you never saw Kim ever with another man. Until the day she passed, you never saw her with another man. Same with Sarah. I ain't never seen Sarah with another man. I don't follow her like that, no way. But yeah, it was given he had all of them in check. That's what it always gave me. The prosecution asked about James' first conversation with Cassie, in which he asked why Cassie wouldn't leave Diddy. Cassie allegedly replied, Sean controls my life, my music. He pays for my apartment. James recalled a conversation he overheard Diddy having while they were on Star Island. Mr. Combs said, Kim is my queen out in LA with my family. He said, I have Cassie right where I want her. She's young and moldable. Which Sounds about right. Men like him want young girls that, are easily influenced, naive. I doubt any grown woman with some sense would put up with him and his foolishness. Although I still wonder to this day, did he engage in these types of activities with Kim or Sarah? I really want to know. I really, truly want to know. And hell, Miami, even though she denies it, I want to know. I want to know, because we all know that him and Ken had an abusive relationship. I wonder, did he get physical with Sarah? We know he got physical with Gina. So it's still a lot of questions up in the air about homeboy, because he is a mess. He is a terror. Okay. Ew, gross. Also, Cassie's former friend Carrie Morgan took to the stand on Monday. This is what she had to say. This one was nuts. The next witness has taken the stand, Cassie's longtime friend Carrie Morgan, white girl, mind you. She testified that she no longer has a relationship with Cassie, despite them being best friends from 2001 to 2018. Morgan alleged she stopped being friends with Cassie because her boyfriend schmalted her, and later specified she was referring to Diddy. Carrie Morgan testified she had never witnessed Cassie do schmugs or excessively drink alcohol until she got into a relationship with Diddy. She added that Diddy would criticize Cassie's appearance and that Cassie lost her confidence over the years. Ain't that crazy? And Cassie is one of the most beautiful women in the world. Absolutely stunningly gorgeous. And you see how somebody continuously putting you down will actually make you think that you ain't what you are? That's crazy. Anywho, he would yell at Cassie. She lost her confidence big time, lost her spark. Morgan added that Diddy would often call Cassie 50 times in a row if he was looking for her. Before the judge broke for lunch, Morgan testified she witnessed Diddy schmalk Cassie on multiple occasions and alleged Diddy also attacked her after accusing Cassie of cheating. Morgan said Diddy hit her with a wooden hanger and choked her, which was the end of her relationship with Cassie. Now that I don't blame her. Like, cause girl, you can let him pound on you, but I ain't gonna let him pound on me. Okay, that's like Tina Turner and old girl in the movie. Like, no, we're not doing that today. It's unfortunate she lost a friend behind this. I hope that they can mend things, now that she's moved on, she's married, she got 3 kids, hopefully they can mend their friendship, because that's terrible. But Morgan testified she suffered a concussion from the alleged schmalk. Morgan added that she hired a lawyer but did not file a suit against Diddy. Instead, Diddy paid $30,000. She said Cassie gave her an NDA to sign, which she did. The two have not spoken since. You see what type of manipulation and control he had on her? Not only did I schmalk your friend, but I'm going to pay her $30,000 to keep her quiet. And instead of me having one of my lawyers have her come in and sign the NDA, I'm going to make you do it. Can you imagine how awkward and embarrassing that is, and shameful that she then had to go to her friend who just got physically harmed by the man that's been physically harming you and say, here girl, sign this NDA. And this girl hates your guts right about now. Like the horror. I'm mortified. I could only imagine. He is so nasty and vindictive. He is literally the devil. The devil. The devil. And I don't be understanding why people always talking about God, but people don't never think about the devil. There are real demons walking amongst us on this earth, and he is one of them. My Lord. Before concluding her appearance in court, Cassie shared more details about her freak-off experiences and details her past schmug use to dissociate and feel emotionless during the act. She named that she took substances like Special K, GHB, mushrooms, ecstasy, and MDMA. She said Combs also used schmugs, and sometimes the escorts did too. In an email exchange, Cassie confirmed they were discussing schmug use, with Combs indicating he was high. She explained she took more schmugs to mentally escape the experiences which she said she hated. Even when the schmugs made her vomit, Combs told her to continue. That is disgusting. And you know it wasn't a situation where he let her run in the bathroom and vomit. She probably vomited right then and there, and the vomit sitting over her, and he just like continue on, because this is the same man that was urinating on her and making her drink his urine. So you know he nasty and trifling. Like, ugh. Oh my word. Oh my God. Cassie testified that she did not want to continue having intercourse when she felt like vomiting. She described the effects of various schmugs. GHB made her feel drunk and tipsy. Cocaine made her heart race, which she didn't like. And mushrooms caused hallucinations, making the walls appear to come alive. Girl, you know you trying to run from life when you taking all this mess. Cassie testifies about being directed by Diddy on who to contact when schmugs ran out. She also describes an incident where after an escort finished, Diddy instructed that the substance be placed on his body, specifically his nipples. This is something she did but did not want to do. That is why would you want another man's nuts on your anywhere near you? Like, he was demented. Like, I ain't never heard of no shit like this before. He got some kinks that I ain't never heard of before. Cassie testifies to feeling dehumanized and objectified by men, with some sessions being watched by Diddy via FaceTime. Recordings of the session sometimes appeared on Cassie's devices, which she would delete, calling them disgusting and expressing a desire for no one ever to see them. Sean's devices were also used at times. Ventura asked him to delete the videos, but doesn't know if he actually did. Cassie recounts leaving a freak off early at the Century City Intercontinental because of an upcoming premiere. She says Diddy became violent, hitting her between sessions as she tried to leave via the elevator. He allegedly threw her to the ground, grabbing Cassie by the neck and hoodie. The prosecution then presented hotel hallway video evidence to support the account. I'm going to show you guys the actual full video from that day. We only saw a little clip, but there's more footage from that incident where you'll see Diddy in the hallway talking to security. I'm going to show you that right now. Wild. Crazy. Now, after court wrap today, Diddy offered, get this y'all, a quiet moment of emotion before leaving. "I love you all," he said out loud, then softly added, "Yeah, love." locking eyes with a woman in the gallery. He made a heartfelt request. Please let Justin know I'm thinking of him, referring to his son, Justin Combs. He placed a hand over his heart as he exited. To me, that was a message that he was sending to whomever this lady was that was speaking in code. Because why would you just point out one of your kids? And then why are you telling the court you love them? This ain't a concert. What? He is delusional. He is nuts. He is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Okay? And I have had enough. I have simply had enough of this crazy man. During day 2 of the trial, the Shade Room reported on Cassie's testimony. Let's take a look.
Cassie says they used 10 big bottles of baby oil per freak-off, blood and urine all over the walls, and some of the escorts they hired were allegedly from Craigslist. I'm Justin Carter. We're here in Manhattan. It's disgusting. The testimony we've all been waiting for. Cassie Ventura, what she had to say upstairs. This is a TSR Investigates special report, Trial Watch.
I know that room was funky.
The focus today were on those freak-offs, Cassie detailing them as intimate encounters between her, hired escorts, and Diddy, who often liked to watch. He introduced it to her as voyeurism. Cassie, with her bone-straight hair today and soft voice, she sat on that witness stand and said that their freak-offs would sometimes last several days. The longest one, 4 days long. 4 days straight of sex and other lewd acts at the direction of Sean P. Diddy Combs, where she and the escorts that they would hire would use ecstasy, MDMA, cocaine, and other drugs to keep them awake.
Wow. Photos were also released of some of the horrific injuries that she suffered due to the hands of Diddy. Let's take a look. So in this photograph, you see she has a swollen, busted lip. Right here, she has a gash on her left eyebrow where you can see it is opened up to the white meat. Here's another photograph of the same wound. And here is a photograph of her back where you see an obvious bruise above her left buttocks. And then you see some bruises on her left upper shoulder blade. Photographs were also released of all of the Schmex workers that were hired during their freak-offs. So you see Jonathan Odie, who we've all seen by now. The second man is Ash. If you ever watched the show Gigolos on Showtime, he was one of the male escorts on that show. He's actually in prison right now for schmurder. If you haven't seen that documentary, watch it because it was crazy. Then you got this dude down at the bottom. I don't know who he is. You have this other black guy. Now, he kind of cute. Obviously, Diddy didn't have no type, okay? He liked some of everything. Then you have this man named Tony. You have Greg. You got this white man down here. He's actually pretty attractive. You got this man down here that look like he one of the Jacksons or something. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Then you have Jules, who also went by, I believe, Vic on Gigolos, which makes me wonder, did they watch Gigolos and that's why they hired the two of them, because they kind of saw they work? But yeah, he was on Gigolos too. This man is unidentified, but he kind of looked like Joe. Don't know who these two men are at the bottom. Then you got this guy who looked like he on steroids, child. He's scaring me. These narcotics were obtained by the government. You see pills. You see what else you see in this photograph? Some pink packets. I don't know what they are. I don't know if them are condoms. I don't know what this is, child. Don't get me the line. But these are some of the things that were confiscated from him. I feel so sorry for everybody that has been victims of this man. I feel like from what I've read and heard thus far, as far as the prosecution's case, I think that they have obviously built a strong case showing that he has been abusive to Cassie and others, that he obviously has anger issues. He's a violent person. I think that they've also shown that he is very controlling, manipulative, psychotic. Also, he's unhinged. Now, the racketeering charges, everybody is like, they haven't proven that yet. They haven't, from what I've seen thus far. Now, coercion, I believe, is being proven via the fact that Cassie is saying she did not want to do these things and that he forced her to do all of this stuff. And that was further proven when Cassie's mom took the stand. Here she is leaving court, and she testified that Diddy had threatened Cassie that he was going to put out one of the Schmeck's tapes, right? While she was dating Kid Cudi. He felt like he was taking a loss. So he needed to recoup his funds, right? Cassie emailed her mom and told her mom what was going on. So Cassie and her father took out a second mortgage loan or whatever on their house and paid him $20,000 or $30,000 to not do it. Yeah, they took out a home equity loan and paid Diddy not to do it. Now, I don't know if he gave them the money back at some point, but regardless, that is blackmail. That's a crime within itself. And why would you do this to these people that are, just regular schmegular people? You didn't need that money. You did not need that money. Why would you do that to somebody? Having them take out a loan on a house just to be spiteful and just to keep this girl on your puppet strings. That is crazy, bro. Like, just for all of that alone, he needs to go to jail. Now, what the prosecution still, I feel, needs to prove is the racketeering, which is him having Schmeck's workers go across state lines to perform these schmexual acts. Now, the Punisher dude, I believe he's from New York, so they didn't prove it there. They're going to need other Schmeck's workers to come on the stand and say that they were flown out to come and perform these acts. That's where the racketeering comes in at, which I don't feel has been proven yet, but I do feel the abuse and coercion, they have a really solid case on that. Do I think he's going to serve more time in jail after this? I do. I don't think that he's going to get off scot-free, but the prosecution really needs to prove this racketeering part, because that's the biggest part of this case. Now, this trial is supposed to go on for at least 6 weeks. So we still got a lot more time, a lot more witnesses to get on the stand and testify. I wonder, is Diddy going to take the stand at all? I do know that when Cassie's mom took the stand, that the defense did not cross-examine, which says a lot, that they already knew they wasn't going to win that round, which was pretty damn good for the prosecution. Cassie also received another $10 million from the hotel where the video footage of her getting beat took down. They paid her $10 million, I guess because the tape was confiscated or whatever the case may be, but she was recently awarded $10 million from the hotel. So in total, she's received $30 million out of this situation, which congratulations to her, because everything that she had to endure, for me, $30 million ain't enough. Shit. Hell with that. Woo! This is a mess. Y'all let me know what y'all think about all of this. I will be back in a few more days with another roundup of info that has come from this trial. Let's talk about everything down below in the comment section. Please make sure to thumbs up this video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on your post notifications so you know my videos drop. I love you guys, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.